Welcome, everybody, this week to the Damage Per Second podcast. It's week number 54, I think. 4 is one less than 5. Next step on this road is going to be week number 543. We're real close, folks.
That's going
to be the real accomplishment. So I wasn't here last week. You guys, Brett and Keith, introduce yourselves and tell me what you fellows were up to last week.
I'm Bert, and I was streaming Overwatch last week.
And I'm Keith.
Why do you have that?
I purchased that for $6 on Amazon, and I was just to sort of see how much mileage I could get over doing it over stream. I mean, not this stream, but like playing Overwatch and just sort of doing it over the mic, doing it to Jen over Skype. And I think it's been worth it so far.
I would say $6. I wouldn't have been surprised if you bought it exclusively for that one moment. That would have been worth it.
Yesterday, Keith came in. I think there was like 6 of us playing Overwatch, and he just came in and started playing it. Oh man!
Well played.
Stuff.
So I was in India last week, and I would like to talk about my trip a little bit because I didn't game at all.
What brought you there?
So I was there for a work trip, but I did.
A plane, probably. Stupid question. Bad question.
Speaking of planes, I got to fly business class for the first time.
Ooh,
I've only
jealous.
ever flown economy, as most people who are not very wealthy. And let me tell you,
I bet
it
you
was
felt like a big business boy.
well, yeah, I did, but it was incredible. Like it made flying as good as flying could be, which still isn't like the best thing ever, but it's as good as as it could be was business class in this situation. We flew British Airways, and you get your own little space where your seat goes back the whole way with a private monitor, and they just don't stop feeding you ever. They just keep feeding you.
I heard that also flying international is like a whole different world from flying like in the same country.
Yeah, I mean flying domestically, I mean business class, first class, I don't think matters at all. Unless maybe you're flying to Hawaii, which technically counts as domestic, but it's a very far flight, right? It's like 6 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
So then I consider
as far
it, but
away from here as it is from
6
Japan.
hours? I think it would be more like 18 hours or something. But
18 hours. I don't know how far it actually is. I know it's quite far, so maybe I'm thinking like after the layover. I don't know. You're probably right. So that's the only domestic flight, maybe Alaska, where I would consider upgrading depending on the price. But again, I've always only flown economy, and it was so nice. Like I slept a good amount as well, like more than I would have expected to be able to sleep on a plane ever, because I've never really been able to sleep on a plane. But I've never been on a plane where my seat goes back the whole way, so it was pretty incredible.
Nice.
that's great.
Man, I want to be in business class or first class.
So
Just
the
want to
caveat
look
was
like
that I traveled for work, so we actually had to do work on this trip. But we did get to sightsee a lot. The work's portion of it was quite productive, but it was a 10.5-hour time difference, which is more than I've ever experienced, and I'm still messed up from it. Like it's very. It was a lot easier going then than it has been coming home so far, but it's just like it really, really screwed me up.
Yeah.
Because it's basically the complete opposite of the day. Like right now it's 8:30 tomorrow over there right now. So this is kind of the only overlap at this time of the day. So it's weird. Anyway, one of the cool things that we did was we were in Hyderabad, and we went to a place in Hyderabad, in old Hyderabad, called Charminar, because where we were staying was, I was telling Keith earlier, is like a big tech park, and it's very much it's modern, and it's kind of meant for travelers and workers. So it's very I don't want to say that anywhere else is unsafe, but you feel very safe. You never feel unsure because it's a very commercialized area, right? So it didn't feel like real India So when we got into Old Hyderabad and into Charminar, we went with our coworkers who showed us around, and it felt like we were actually able to sightsee and experience a little bit of real India, which was really cool.
We lost Justin!
Jayborino, you cut out on us.
No!
I'll just complete what he was saying.
Hello?
India's super cool.
Yeah, we can hear you now, Justin.
Hello?
Justin?
Yeah, hello.
Okay, I'm here. I was just saying how we got to experience real India, which was nice, and not just like commercialized industrial park India. But that was my trip.
Yeah. That sounds pretty awesome. I don't know. Man, I'd like to visit Charmander and Hydro Pump one day.
Yeah, it was crazy being able to see. I never thought that India would be the place where Charmander hung out.
Yeah, that's pretty hot there. You know, it's climate. You're gonna find him somewhere.
I don't think it's too sensitive to ask. Did you perform any choreographed dances with like 1,500 people in the streets?
I did not, but there were definitely 1,500 people in the streets. They were not dancing,
cool,
though.
Man. All the pictures you're posting, I love the food. Like, man, a big thing. I'm big on food, so like, you know, the cultural difference with food is just awesome to see.
That was
Like
my
that-
favorite part
there
of the
was a
trip.
Subway
was the
picture.
food.
Was
Oh,
the food
man.
too spicy for you? Are these the questions that like everybody asks, like your parents ask you?
No. No, actually, nobody's asked me that. But the food was not too spicy
Great.
for me. I like spicy food. There was definitely stuff that would have been too spicy, but I was kind of diligent about not going overboard with it, I suppose. But everything is spicy. That's the thing. Like, there are a few mild options, but they are the exception and not the rule. Everything is spicy. So when I came home, I was like, oh my God, someone get me a bowl of macaroni and cheese or something. For just give me like a minute here with something really mild, because it was great. Again, my favorite part of the trip was probably trying the different food, because my coworkers, they knew that I was willing to try some stuff. My other two coworkers, less so. They wanted more mild things. But I told them, you know, I'm willing to try more spicy stuff. And so, like, the whole trip, there was like a group of 7 or 8 of our coworkers as part of our organization over there, and they were like, "Oh, have you tried whatever?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." And even if I did, I didn't remember the name of it. So they would be like, "Oh, hang on." And sometimes they would actually leave the place where we were. We were at a restaurant, and this guy's like, "Oh, you have to try pan." So they didn't have it at the restaurant, so he left the restaurant for like a half hour just to go and buy some and bring it back.
Oh my gosh,
Extreme.
that's amazing. Well, at least it sounds like they tried to like really show you a good time. That's what I've noticed. I hope this doesn't count as like, it's like a weird thing to say. It's like positive racism, but I noticed that Indian people are really, really nice and welcoming, and
Yes.
they always want to like include you and I don't know, in their culture and sort of make sure you have a good time and try everything. And so I'm glad that it sounds like that happened.
Yes, very hospitable. I could not, I mean,
really-
it was incredibly, they were so nice to us, they barely knew us, and they, like, planned the whole week taking us to dinner, and they insisted that they paid for our lunch some days and dinner, and we're, you know, the exchange rate is very favorable for us, so even if we weren't on expense, which we were, so we could have expensed it, you know, I still could have paid for lunch or dinner for like anywhere between $1 and $5. But they were just like, no, let us pay. And they would not let us buy our own food in some cases. And I felt guilty about it. But again, it's just like, I so hospitable and so friendly. And it was just a great experience. Like, I couldn't imagine traveling to a country where you were meeting someone and they weren't hospitable or friendly, just because it would make it so much harder to kind of get used to where you were.
Man,
Man.
I want to visit more continents. Like,
Yeah.
totally. It's weird to just think that. I mean, obviously we're all still young, but like to feel like we've barely visited. There's just like places that are drastically different from our country, and
Yeah.
we never go there.
This definitely has sort of inspired me to want to take more exotic trips, I suppose. Really, it's just the airfare prices. It's really what stops most people, I think. It's so expensive to fly to somewhere like Asia. Like, I'd love to go to Singapore. From what I understand, it's like Asia for beginners. It's like it's a great place because it's really easy and leisurely, and it's a pristine city where everything is very safe, and you know it's comfortable and just a good Asia introduction for someone who's just traveling by themselves. I'd love to do it, but the cost to fly there is astronomical.
Yeah. It's weird, like, does it cost any less to come back because the exchange rate? Probably not, right?
Maybe if you
probably
flew
is.
there and didn't get a return ticket, and then you bought your ticket when you were there, maybe? I don't know, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually don't know what currency is used in Singapore.
I'm jealous
But
of
anyway,
you.
it was great. Well, so tell me about your weeks and what you were up to with games.
My weeks?
Brett's weeks. Yes,
About
Brett.
My week, it's been pretty good. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch lately, which is rare. I find I take long breaks from that game, and now I'm just playing kind of constantly. I don't know. I'm having a good time. I feel like I'm getting a little bit better and a little more aware of things that are going on, and it's a nice feeling. It's still frustrating to play ranked, but I'm not losing every single ranked game that I'm playing. So that's cool. And I've actually been trying this sort of experiment where I'm going into ranked with open mic on instead of push to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And so not only does it make me like more communicative, but it also kind of makes me like accountable for my own anger when I'm playing the game alone. So like, I'm not just yelling like a madman. Like
Maybe I should do that.
like honestly, it's kind of helping because now that I know that everybody's listening to me, especially when I can see like 5 out of 6 players have a mic or something, it makes me think more about just trying to be like more helpful, and I've been winning as a result of it. So I don't know if it's really helping, but people seem to be reacting okay when I'm saying like I don't know if Genji is really the choice here. We might need like a Lucio, and then we get a Lucio, and then we win. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that worked. So
It does. I'm surprised sometimes, like, when, like, nicely calling stuff out helps. Like, just saying stuff like, yeah, oh man, look at their team comp. Like, I think a Winston would totally eat them alive right now. I would switch, but I'm support or something like that. And then you'll see a Winston show up, and they'll be bad at it because nobody plays Winston, but it's still cool,
Yeah. So yeah, and then the new event started today, the Lunar New Year, which has like some of the best skins that they've put out for the game. The game's not too different. They added like capture the flag, which apparently was like there's like reasons for the way that they did it, but I played it and I thought it was like awful, so I don't know. We'll see. It just doesn't seem very well implemented, but there was some Reddit thread and people were like, well, Jeff Kaplan explained like everything that they wanted to do right with it, so maybe I should watch that video and I'd understand. But
I started listening to that video, but I didn't get super far. But I know he mentioned like, oh, we were talking about like anytime anyone uses a movement ability, then they drop the thing, but it didn't feel good. And then I didn't hear what they did after that. I'm like, well, I hope they did something, because it's like, it seems impossible for them to just let that stuff go unchecked, like Sombra and Tracer and Winston.
yeah, it's
Zenyatta's he's super fast and completely invulnerable. Like,
it's pretty stupid because it's just like 6 people on top of their flag until one team happens to screw up or something. It's like there's obviously Symmetra in every game, and like Symmetra was unchanged. Like the balance patch, or the balances that they made were good, but I still don't understand why Symmetra isn't fixed a little bit. She's just broken in like a way that makes it not fun to play against her at all.
Yeah,
this is her New Balance, right?
Yeah.
New Balance sneakers. I mean, they're just ridiculous, It's like they're so hip. Why can't some of the other heroes get shoes that hip?
So what were? God damn it! What were the actual changes that they made to her? Because I honestly never actually looked.
Do you remember how she used to be at all?
Yeah, with the teleporters and the turrets.
Yeah, so basically the way that she works now is all of her turrets have like a very low cooldown now, and she has all 6 of them immediately rather than having 3 and then having to wait to place the other 3. So that automatically makes her like really good. Her gun now like I don't know if it used to do this, but it gains damage and range, I think, the longer that you're linked to somebody. If I'm not mistaken. Am I right on that, Keith?
Yeah, so
And then-
it previously it also gained damage like the longer it was linked on him, but now so never before in the game, and no one was arguing that Symmetra wasn't garbage before. She was absolutely like not competitive whatsoever, and people and she so much so that people were like she needs a total rework. But now no one has gotten such an across the board buff as Symmetra got. Like since the game started, and when you think about how much even slight changes to like, oh, they increased Diva's armor by they turned 100 of Diva's health into armor, and now she's played a ton, whereas she wasn't played at all before, and people think she's overpowered. So when you look at relatively small changes like that and see how big of an impact they make, then when you look at what they did to Symmetra, it's pretty crazy that they did that without sufficiently testing it, I think. They increased her range dramatically. Now she can connect at 8 meters, and you have to be 11 meters away to get out of her beam. So basically, if she starts with her beam on you, you're just dead unless you can kill her first, which is not super easy for any character, even someone like Reaper.
Mhm.
I mean, he's got the edge on her, but if she gets to jump on you, he'll still probably die. Then she can put all of her turrets out at once, and I think they regenerate faster.
Mhm.
She has 2 alts instead of 1 where she can switch between them. So if she doesn't want to do her teleporter, she can do a shield generator that gives everybody within a huge radius 75 extra shields.
Yeah.
It's just like
And
Lucio.
well,
A little
it
bit,
just gives them
except it's
permanent
permanent.
shields until they destroy the shield generator, and it's a
Oh.
really long range. And then, so I mean, that increases people's health by a huge percentage, like almost 50%. Well, 50% for some heroes like Tracer. And then her E ability, instead of doing the giving people a shield, she projects a shield that moves at running speed in front of you. So she uses that to get close to people, and then applies her beam, which goes through shields.
Yeah, it's like a giant moving Reinhardt shield, basically, like a barrier.
So it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, she can do everything that she used to be able to do, basically. And now she's one of the most offensive characters in the game, too.
Yep, and she's listed as a support still.
Yep, it's cool. So
That doesn't
I
sound
don't
cool
know.
at all.
It's really irritating to play against her now, but it's not as easy as countering other heroes. Winston is really good against her, and other people have an edge, but like there are better heroes to play than others against her, but it's painful.
It sort of sounds like with this any sort of capture the flag situation, there's specifically better people than others, like you were saying. Like her and Winston, I just imagine seem like the best people to use for stuff like this.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. Like there might be reasons for the way that they designed the capture the flag game, but like the balance of the heroes is not balanced at all around a capture the flag mode, and so I think like I don't know, we'll just have to see how that works. I mean,
I would think they would
exists
have
in
to
the
put a
arcade
lot
for a
of work
reason right
into
now.
it.
It's not
Yeah.
like an official game mode or anything. It's not going to be in ranked, but I don't know. It could be fun to mess around with if they really refine it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they would have to specifically rebalance like each hero for the specific game mode.
Yeah,
which would
is
be
kinda
weird.
gnarly. Yeah. So, yeah. Other than that, I've been playing some Animal Crossing lately. I've been playing it like I don't know, 20 minutes a day. Just getting my fossils because my museum. It's really coming together. Just about got every fossil now, so it's gonna be looking really awesome. I don't know. Really sick in the museum. You'll have all these dinosaurs. Everybody can come to my town if you guys want. Probably not.
I'd
I
love
don't
to.
wanna.
Do I need a
You're more than
You
welcome.
never invite me.
Yeah, you'll have to have Animal Crossing, but
on the Wii U,
no, it's a 3DS.
3DS? Oh, okay. Well, I'll consider it. If you buy me Animal Crossing, I'll visit your museum.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I'll buy it.
It's a steal for you.
That's a bargain. Have my best friend Jayborino come to my town. That
So
game's
spend
fun.
your
It
lifetime.
is so relaxing and it's just different. It's like so goofy.
Speaking of Animal
Either.
Crossing, Tara's been playing Stardew Valley a lot, and she really, really enjoys that. Have you played that, Brett?
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a great one. It's a little more scripted in a way. There's like, I mean, you know, you have a lot of freedoms, but like it's got like a story there. Sometimes you like find your wife, and that's like a mini story and stuff. Animal Crossing's kind of like free reign to just do whatever. You just kind of talk to your animal neighbors who say the same thing every day and say like, "Hey, I lost my item. Can you find it? And I'll give you a couch." Something like that. Yeah, Stardew Valley is a special game too. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Building your farm. What's she playing it on?
PC. Mac.
Oh,
Not PC.
PC Mac.
The computer. She's playing it on the computer, Brett. The computer
Cool.
game.
Yeah, it's easy. It's, easy.
It's a computer game. That sounds so funny in like 2017.
When I hear computer game, I think of that old math game with the kid with the jetpack.
Yep. I think of Math Blaster and Treasure Mountain.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes my mom lets me play games on the computer.
Oregon Trail.
Boy.
Yeah, that's what I've been up to though. I haven't been gaming as much these days, which is kind of depressing. But
Oh man.
Oh man.
yeah,
What have you been up
Life's
to,
good.
Brett?
I've just been working a lot, and I never really feel like doing anything when I get home.
Yeah.
I just kind of go to sleep. I work at like odd hours, so like I'll work like 11 to 8 or something on like a long day, or 11 to 9. So I just kind of wake up at like 10:30, go to work at 11, and then I go home and it's already like 9:30, 10, because usually I have to stay late. And I'm like, I have no energy for anything. This sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So I just sit and stare at my Steam library or Xbox library, and I just do nothing. And then I go to bed. Well, that's okay. Making money.
Living the dream.
Make a dream.
I completely relate to that, though, because I do the same thing. Especially on a day like today where I took off. I was like, oh, I'm going to recover from jet lag, take Monday and Tuesday off. And I've done virtually nothing because I just feel like death. And I just think like, oh, I could play so many games, and then I play no games.
Hey, you could try it my way. See, what you do is you come home, you're really, really tired. Well, actually, let's think. You wake up, you're very, very tired. You drink an obscene amount of coffee, and that kind of carries you through for a lot of the day into the night. And then you start feeling kind of crappy, but you just play games anyway until really late. And then you go to bed and don't get enough sleep. And then on the weekend, you sleep for like 10 hours.
I do that as well.
Does happen.
Yeah.
Do that. Do that.
I'm the same way with that as well. It's just the worst habits in terms of like going to bed
Yeah,
at
it's like
a good
one
time.
or the other.
You know what I thought? I'm like, oh, I'm coming home from jet lag, 10.5-hour difference. This is the perfect time to try to like reset my sleep schedule to find out like, am I really not a morning person, or do I just have terrible sleep habits? Because the last couple days when I've gotten home, I've woken up around 5:30 in the morning. I kind of go back and forth into sleep. I wake up at 7 o'clock and feel pretty refreshed because that's just like I'm just like recovering from a weird jet lag. So I'm moving backwards in time, sort of. That's just when I feel okay. So if I can just retain that way I could get up for work and not feel terrible every day. I just think it could be life-changing. But I know that next week I'll be staying up till like 2 and watching something stupid on YouTube and then regretting it the next morning, and then it's all just going to go to shit like usual.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, I could just go to bed at a decent time. And it's not even that much of a difference. It's like 30-minute to an hour difference, and honestly, 30-minute difference in the time I go to bed and the time I could go to bed. And I'd probably feel great all the time. Like, somehow that 30 minutes at the end of the night is just worth, like, feeling less than the rest of for the entire day.
That's why I wonder if maybe part of it's psychological. You're like, man, if I would have went to bed at 1 instead of 1:30, can you imagine the difference I would feel this morning?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? Oh, well. So this past week, or past 2 weeks, I guess, I played some different things. I played a game called Stories: The Path of Destinies, which was on which is on PlayStation Network. It's got nice reviews, like a 9 out of 10 on Steam, 4.4 out of 5 PlayStation Store. It's 73% on Metacritic, but it's good. It's an indie game. What was that game? Like Brett, you might know, Bastion, right? So PC game, isometric, kind of like diagonally top down, sort of. And you go around kind of hacking and slashing, and you upgrade your abilities and get different weapons and stuff. So you get different swords. There are some puzzles. Combat's fine. It's a short game. I thought it was good. I thought it was worth playing. It's mainly just for the story. It's kind of interesting. It's like there are a bunch of different branching paths that you can take, and you get a ton of different endings. But there's like one ending that's good in particular. Maybe there's more. I'm not sure, but and as you go through the different branching stories, you find out information, and then you'll like die and get resurrected or something, and you'll start back at the start of the story. But it's different because the decisions take you to different levels. It's like you could go get this crazy weapon, or you could go get this mysterious rune, or you could go meet your friend. And you find out important things about your friends and the weapons, and like things, like a lot of different things have a downside, and you can kind of play it out, and eventually you can make all the right decisions and get through it. So I think it was pretty interesting for that reason, and because it's short. So for those reasons, I thought it was worth playing. So get it if it's on sale, get it on Steam if it's on sale. But Jen and I like played through taking turns. But finished. Did I mention I finished The Witcher?
Well, you said that before. I don't know if it's real.
On a podcast. I like really finished it. All the DLC and everything. It was great. So I don't know. I miss it, but it was like the game seemed like it took so long. Like I had lulls and times when I was really, really excited about it, and I ended and I was really excited about it because the DLC is great, which is good because it sucks when like games don't end, games and movies and stuff. It sucks when they don't end on a high note, but this one was really good. But yeah, like I can barely even remember when I started the game. Like stuff seems like it happened a lifetime ago. It happened in this game, but it is good. I mean, there's tons of content, so I don't know, but can be hard to come back to, like if you put it down, because you have to relearn like, okay, what was I doing and what's all this stuff and who are all these people. And I started playing Metal Gear Solid 5, which is another game that's ridiculously long, and it's really, really fun so far. Like I hope it doesn't get to the point where it becomes repetitive, but it's got all kinds of crazy systems. You've got your loadouts, and you develop different weapons, and you have this base that's an oil rig thing, and you build up different parts of your base. So you bring up, you build up your R&D platform and your main platform, and you build up your support platform who can support you in the field, and your combat platform, and you can send your best combat soldiers on combat deployments, and they can go and they bring back rewards, which you can use to build more platforms or develop new items, and you can get new guns, and you can get new outfit, like a sneaking suit or a combat suit or whatever, and you have a horse and a dog and other companions, and they're called your buddies. You can bring one buddy on every mission, and you upgrade your buddies, and you have a bond meter that grows with them, which unlocks more abilities with them. And this crazy open world, different countries, like you start in Afghanistan, you go other places, and all kinds of side missions and ops that it's just absolutely ridiculous. There's just tons and tons and tons of stuff. And I'd say the controls, when I first started playing it, I was like, oh, geez, I'm not having fun. I cannot do what I'm trying to do. It's overwhelming. That was for, I don't know, a day, maybe 2 days. And then I was like, and then it's like any game with that kind of depth. You get excited about it. Like it's overwhelming at the start. And then once you learn everything, it's just really, really fun. So I hope it doesn't get repetitive. I know for some people,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know even if repetitive is the right term, but there's just so much and things that you could do. And I think it's one of those games like Skyrim where you just have to know, you have to have an intuition about what is worth doing and what's not worth doing. And Brett was helping me out with a little bit of that because he had some experience with the game.
So in the chat, Vorgaz asks if Phantom Pain has DLCs, and I read that as, does Phantom Pain have dicks? I really had no idea what he was in reference to until I saw Brett's response. But speaking of DLC and microtransactions, what have you, I will say the way you described that sort of made it sound like a mobile game, and if there wasn't like a AAA combat stealth, like third-person stealth portion to it, it sort of just sounds like the garrisons from World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah,
well,
that was a big complaint.
Yeah, there is a lot of that stuff, and it is kind of like that. And I haven't decided. I mean, obviously, it's like you send people on this mission. They have different rankings. Every soldier that, like, you go in the field and you kidnap soldiers sort of and send them back to your base, and then they have different stats and specializations, and some of them are good at combat and some of them are good at research, and you got to assign them to the right places. And you know, and then the combat deployments, it's like, okay, well, you can send different squadrons of people on these missions, and you can do 2 at once, and they all have a timer. So like this one takes an hour, this one takes 4 days, this one takes 38 minutes. And so, and then you get certain rewards. So that stuff's not fun. I don't know what, I mean, you get rewards for it.
And like get your levels
that
up,
stuff's
like,
really fun.
The base building stuff and like actually optimizing where your soldiers are working and stuff, like that's not fun.
That's super not fun. And they have ways that you can say like, hey, automatically assign where they are best. But then there's other stuff like, okay, well, this new upgrade requires your R&D team to be level 28 and your R&D team is level 24. But maybe if you move people from these other, from their optimized positions, maybe if you move more people to your R&D team, then you can get it high enough so you can make this thing. Stuff like that's not fun. But there is that, there's definitely that reward loop of like looking forward to new, like, oh, sweet, I can get my new sniper rifle that puts people to sleep instead of killing them, and then I can capture them more easily and get better scores. So I got to work towards getting that. So there's that kind of reward loop, which feels icky to think about. So I recommend not thinking about it. And
no problem.
I don't know. It really is going to remain to be seen. I hope that I can go through the whole game and enjoy it without getting... I could see myself hitting a wall with all of these different meters and things that I'm trying to follow, like daily rewards and challenge tasks that I'm working towards. Like, hey, if you airlift 50 people, then you get 2,000 fuel. And there's just like shit like that all over the place. And so you're constantly, not constantly, but every so often you're checking these different things, seeing, oh, what rewards did I get? What do I need to develop? Where have any new side missions opened up? Should I go do those? It seems like the impression I get is only do side missions if there's some reward that you really want from it, and otherwise just stick to the story missions. Because there's enough there that it's like in The Witcher. Don't go investigate the question marks. Just do. There's so much good non-repetitive stuff that why would you spend extra time, doing these other randomly generated things, as long as you still have all this other good content left.
Sure. Well, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that type of gameplay because it feels rewarding. Like there's been a lot of research done in what makes people feel good about when they play. Like you save up and you perform these tasks and then you have what you need to get something awesome and just like make things better in the game overall. And that's okay as long as it's not monetized in a really shitty way, like
and it's not
mobile games.
I think there's some microtransaction stuff like the online play, which I haven't done any and probably just won't. I don't know. But I haven't seen anything super icky about the game. Like I know there's some stuff related to online play, like you can get extra bases if you spend these weird individualized coins that you have to buy. But yeah, it's like talking about it, I feel more gross about the game. Like when I any of these games, when I think about like, oh, they had a psychologist figure out what feels rewarding to your brain and they built it like a mobile game. I like hate the idea of that, so it makes me feel a little icky.
Yeah.
I'm having a really good time with the game. So I'm excited to play more of it. I'm only, they have a meter and it says I'm 15% of the way through the game. I don't know what that takes into account, but that's great. And I'm playing through Uncharted 4 with Jen on the weekends.
Cool.
And that game is refreshing because it's just a linear story. and so that's kind of nice for a change.
Yeah, sometimes people get down on games that are either too short and or too linear. And I have to say, those are those are very refreshing.
Yeah.
At times. Like, you can get tired of that type of, cinematic gameplay, no player choice, yada, yada, yada. But after playing something like The Witcher, you're like, okay, just give me something straightforward here.
You get in the mood for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Open world fatigue. That's what I call it.
Open world fatigue. And you don't realize that you have it until after you've finished a game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, congrats on reaching 10,000 subscribers, by the way.
Thank you. It's been
marvelous
3
achievement.
years.
How's it feel?
They're the same.
Nice, man.
I mean, finally, maybe I can finally start treating my followers like the dirt they are, because there's enough of them. I don't know. That's
having to suck up. Yeah, and don't be mean to Jayborino, because then the Jayborino army is gonna come for it, and you're gonna have to answer to them.
Ugh.
We're always listening.
Just the thought of that is terrible. It's terrible. As if on cue, though, there definitely was an uptick of shitty comments, like the day after, too. I don't know if it was it has to have just been a coincidence, right? Just like those one-and-done folks who swing in, you never seen them before, they're just like seemingly new people watching, and they just leave like a really mean comment.
They're just like, hey, bitch, you think you're really cool fucking dickhead. And just like, you're like, yeah, cool.
Exactly.
Thanks, whoever you are.
They saw your celebration video, and they saw your face, and they're like, yeah, I could take him. I'll stay with
Well, and it's also, I think it's my favorite are the people that are watching videos that are very clearly years old, and they're like, Jayborino, why didn't you do blank? It's like, even if I would have recorded this last week, that's a stupid question. But it's even better when someone thinks like, Jayborino, why didn't you make siege tanks for this mission? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Do you honestly? I want to understand that person's thought process. Like, did they type that honestly thinking that I would have an answer for them, or it's more just rhetorical? Because they're really just saying you're a fucking idiot because you didn't build, whatever they were saying. I think that's probably what it's meant to me. I don't know.
It's just like it's something like I really want to kind of be like a little nitpicky asshole, but I gotta think of a way to say it that makes me feel like I'm not being one. Hey, why didn't you do this?
Exactly. Those rhetorical questions, they're my favorite. I've started just saying, like, I assume this is a rhetorical question. Just because it's just such a stupid way to phrase a comment. People don't think.
I have a video of me playing Dark Souls. It's like a tutorial video for one of the famously hard bosses, Ornstein and Smough, and I was doing it at Soul Level 1. And this was posted in 2011, mind you, and I just got a comment a week ago of somebody saying, this fight requires no skill. And so I just pinned it. Well, if anybody struggles in, they can look at that.
See, joke's on you, Justin, because all those people that ask why didn't you do this, they're going back to those videos daily and they're checking, just waiting for a response. They're like, I really want to know why.
Why?
They can't figure it out.
I don't. I didn't mean it sarcastically.
Did I do it wrong?
I'm uninformed. I know that. That's why I ask.
And it's like, I don't want to be. It's like at the same time they're watching my stuff, and for the most part, I should just like leave them alone because they could just keep watching, and I should just ignore them. But at the same time, it bothers me just enough. Like it's not something that really bothers me, but it's just irritating enough in like a funny way that I have to respond and just be like you're just a fucking idiot.
Hey, if it hasn't actively driven people away, then it probably won't. So just keep doing it.
Oh dear.
Also, I like the perspective, like, as soon as you decide, like, hey, I'm not going to say or do what I want, then making videos could conceivably become like a chore or something. So.
Exactly. And I've gotten people who are just like, who I'll respond to, like someone who leaves a stupid comment, and I would respond and just like kind of call them out. And it's not really serious, right? It's just like, look, this person's an idiot, and someone needs to tell him, why not me? Kind of thing. Like, especially in the sense where now that I have enough followers, in a weird way, people take what I say more seriously. Like, it matters more. It shouldn't. But, because I'm the mouthpiece, people seem to think like, oh, Jay Borino said this, so I guess it matters in some weird way. So that way, like, if someone says something really stupid and I say, hey, that was stupid, maybe they're more likely to actually, like, change something, which is exciting to me.
Yeah.
And also, I've gotten comments of people who are just like, hey, man, if you're going to be on the internet, you're going to need thicker skin or something like that. And I'm just be like, you don't get it, okay? Do you know how many comments of being told to kill myself I've deleted? Like, thick skin is ignoring that kind of shit, not telling some idiot who left a stupid comment that they're stupid. Like, that doesn't mean I have thin skin. It just means that person's stupid, and I'm the only one who's willing to tell them.
And also, like, and also you kind of want to say, and I can say this because I'm not you, but you also want to say, like, they say, like, hey man, listen to me, I'm the expert. If you're gonna be, if you want to start making YouTube videos, then you're gonna have to learn to get thicker skin. You're like, oh really? I'm going to have to if I ever want to have any success on YouTube, I'm going to have to do something. Oh, that's weird, because it seems like I'm already doing kind of well and moving on with my life, and it seems just fine.
It's been going well for about 3 years, but thanks for your advice.
Thank you. I'll try to take that into consideration.
But overall, just kind of bottom line for, after 3 years and stuff, this kind of stuff is still my favorite stuff to do. Like doing the podcast and playing co-op with Deltrin, and I did some other series with some other people like that. Those are the most fun things to do. Social related stuff, rather than just like sitting and talking to myself. It's way more fun to talk with other people.
Yeah, the social side of gaming has always been, I don't know, the coolest thing.
It has been a pleasure to join you on the Jay Borino journey.
And what better time to share everyone my real name in real life? It is, my first name is Jay and my last name is Borino.
I know you never would have thought.
Some people do type it that way. They type J space capital Borino. I don't have the heart to tell them.
I think I would laugh like every time.
They can find it for themselves.
It is weird though. Like I have to pay taxes this year. Last year I didn't really make enough to have to really bother. Like, I mean, I make enough with my normal job but I don't make enough with this to have paid like estimated quarterly payments and stuff. And this year I do, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. Yeah. Like not enough to stop, but almost. Because it sucks like having to, you have to pay quarterly if you have to make estimated tax payments, and if you're short, you still have to pay a penalty. So you're basically always overpaying.
Wow. That sucks. I hope I never know how that works.
I mean, it's still not a lot of money. It's like just enough to be a pain in the ass.
You know, I know, take this with some perspective with like a grain of salt, because obviously I am paying taxes for work and stuff, and I managed to figure it out. But do you ever like look at the tax system and you just think like I'm not being like arrogant or something, but I feel like I'm smarter than most people, and this sucks. It's like pretty difficult. How does 90% of the country just successfully do their taxes every year?
I think they don't.
TurboTax.
Yeah,
probably just don't.
H&R
right?
Block.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Oh God, let me tell you a story about H&R Block though. Okay, so the issue my wife and I have used H&R Block the last 2 years because we have like a complicated situation where like I live in a state and work in that state, but she lives where I live but works in a different state because we're right on the border of New Jersey and New York. So that's a pain. It wouldn't be that bad, but she's still in university, so she has a stipend which is taxed differently because you don't get a W-2 for that. You need to do it separately. But she also is a TA, so that she does get a W-2 for. And then on top of that with my job, plus the YouTube stuff, getting it all organized and sorted was just a pain. So we said, okay, we'll go to H&R Block. And so this person that's been helping us, it was her for 2 years in a row. It was the same woman. And both years we went, she asks us questions as if we aren't in a tax professional's office. Do you know what I mean? Like like, look, I'm supplying you all of the documentation. Just do the taxes. And that's it. But she kind of goes through them and she asks us questions like, how should I do this? And we're like, we're paying you to figure it out. It'd be like going to a doctor and you tell them the symptoms and they're just like, so what do you think you have? I don't know. What do you think it is? Like,
What kind of medicine do you want? Vicodin?
Yeah, and you pay a lot of money to have someone do your taxes. Like, to the point where this year, I almost want to try to do it myself because it's like, the problem is we went and we got this woman the first year and we just thought like, okay, well that didn't go great, but it took longer than it felt like it should have, but we finished it ultimately. And then the next year they're like, oh, we see that this person did your taxes last year. We'll make an appointment with her for you this year. And we were just like, no, please don't. So this year we're actually just going to a different branch to see if it's any better.
I have like a family friend who. Here's the thing: so I have a family friend who, he did taxes for my dad. My dad did his own taxes for a really long time, and eventually he's like, I don't like doing this, and so I've never learned how to actually do it. I mean, not really, I think, but I know like general deductions and different things, and so I had him do it. In the very first year, he's like, "Oh, did you know that you could deduct your move because you moved for work, so you can deduct all of that?" And like maybe I would have thought of that, but I was like, "Okay, well that saved me $1,000. I guess I'll just do this every year." So that was not 1,000, but you know.
But it's worth it just to learn that kind of stuff that you know for the next years, and it's. Apparently, just going at like if you know an accountant that you're willing to pay, it usually goes much better. Like you said, a family friend who happens to be an accountant who is willing to help you out, and it's like it's not that I'm not willing to pay. Like my brother-in-law's an accountant. I would pay him to help with our taxes. It's just like having someone who is just more. I don't know, something about going to a chain to do your taxes. Maybe it's just because I've had those bad experiences where it just didn't seem like I was getting what I was paying for, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
I would rather just hire a personal accountant to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad idea. Tax talk this week on DPS podcast.
I mean, the best is when, you know, it's just you have your income, you fill out your 1040 easy, and you're done.
So easy.
It's literally called easy.
It's 1, 2,
Oh,
3.
oh,
Do we have
Jayborino,
a...
don't worry. I know all about easy.
At least I could teach a class on easy. Did we have a podcast since the
Oh, the Switch? I was gonna bring
the
that
Switch? Yeah,
No, we didn't. Let's talk
the
about it.
Zelda
What do you
trailer
think
and the
about it?
Switch stuff.
What do you think about the Switch, Jayborino? Or let's start with the Zelda trailer. That's where it's at.
The Zelda trailer looked cool. I think I'm gonna get it on Wii U because I already own it.
Makes sense.
But it looked cool, and I like how Keith. Well, I'll let Keith talk about it with the Zelda scream thing. That was hilarious. But I honestly, the trailer looked nice. I mean, Zelda hype. It's always Zelda hype. So I don't know. I don't want to be a party pooper. It's just I think I'm soured on Zelda since the last installment, and I didn't play any of the HD remakes for Wii U. So I'm just sort of waiting. Like, I hope it's good. But that's all. That's my only.
Yeah.
That's my only thought on it.
Yeah. I hear that.
See, I think my problem with Skyward Sword was I wasn't hyped up enough for it, and so I was a little disappointed. But I feel like my hype is so immense right now for Breath of the Wild that I could literally never be disappointed because I won't let myself be disappointed by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just like No Man's Sky, right?
Oh yeah, I was never excited for that, but I did get it. Either way, yeah, I think it looks friggin' awesome. Good return to form, hopefully, and with some good changes on the way.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. And I am getting it for the Switch. I pre-ordered one of those.
I'm very intrigued to see what the difference is, realistically, with the Switch version and the Wii U version.
Probably pretty little. Usually, the way that games work when they're launched next to a console that's like just coming out is they're like virtually identical. So I'm pretty sure that's probably gonna be the case. Hopefully, it's been developed with the Switch in mind, though.
They gave out some. I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna get it for. I feel like we're just gonna get it for Wii U, just out of stubbornness, sort of, because we're like, this was the reason that we bought a Wii U.
Yeah.
And like, it's a weird thing to be. It's a weird thing to be mad. I think we've talked about it before, but like. Some people will say like, "Oh, people are like mad that other people get to play the game like on their console or something," and that's misrepresenting the argument. It's like a minor annoyance because, you know, let's say you're a Nintendo fan, but you mainly care about Zelda. You're like, no, it's because I'm gonna buy both, but I could have not bought this thing. All I wanted to play was this one game. I could have not bought this whole system.
Yep.
So that's
I
what
could have had the
argument
newer
is.
gen
Not
with the newer
they
games.
want to deny other people the reason the game, you know, the ability to play the game. It's just you're like, wow, that's bold, you know. You're really gonna just basically put it out for the new console and you're just going to release it for Wii U. I mean, I'm just saying it better run well on the Wii U,
Mm-hmm.
or else people will certainly have a right to complain. But I don't know. I could see us potentially getting a Switch down the line. We'll have to see what comes out. I mean, I wasn't really wowed by and except for Zelda, but Zelda looks amazing. So I don't know. I haven't played Skyward Sword. I don't know what to expect. The open worldness, it does seem like it's going to be really different. They put out some ridiculous statistic like there's going to be 300 mini dungeons or something, and you're like, wow, will they all suck? Because that's what it seems like 300 mini dungeons would be. It seems like they'd be randomly generated, and they wouldn't be very good. But
Like Dragon Age 2 caves.
Yeah.
Just repetitive some stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like prefabricated. Oh, this one's a mirror image of the last one, and this one we flipped it upside down. But you know,
This
This
is
one, there's a treasure chest at the end of it, and this one, there's an ogre. So
an
hopefully it's not
ogre.
that, but it looks amazing. You know, it
Yeah.
looks really beautiful. Looks like they put a ton of work into it. It's really also something that's fascinating to me is that apparently your weapons have like durability and stuff, which doesn't sound good, but it sounds like you'll be finding new weapons and armor all over the place. So unlike a lot of Zelda games, it might be about finding like, I mean, sure you're gonna have your hook shot and your whatever, your boot, you know, different like your iron boots or whatever everything is. But you might also be finding lots of sort of random loot or rare stuff around, and so that could be pretty cool.
The only thing I don't like about durability in general, and it's not just going to be this game, right? It's any game. It's just like the durability system is neat, and you have to be kind of diligent with it, which is a nice system that forces you to rotate until you find something that you really, really, really like a super end game
Yeah.
thing, and then it's just like, well, it's gonna still break eventually. Too bad, kind of bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah,
Bothers me.
I feel like that stuff shouldn't permanently break. And second, it's like, oh yeah, but you found this really rare item, and that should make you set for the rest of the game, but it costs 4,000 gold to repair, and you're like, well, fuck off. Like, it's the ring, or.
So this is an exaggeration, but I really, really think that I would not be super surprised if Nintendo put out a disc for Skyward Sword, and then you made it halfway through the game, and then it said, continue your amazing journey with Link and Zelda on disc 2 for Nintendo Switch. And then everyone would lose their minds, and then Nintendo would come out a week later and be like, no, it doesn't mean that it's only for Nintendo Switch. You can get disc 2 also for the Wii U. It's just not released yet. But like the thing on the screen says continue on
about the
disc
new
2
one?
for Nintendo Switch. I don't know why, but I just imagine Nintendo specifically doing exactly something like that.
Well, I'll say this. I think that we haven't seen the end of them trying to get people to purchase the Switch for the Zelda game, despite the fact that they're like, no, it's coming out for the Wii U for like, how long have they've been saying that? So basically the only reason it's coming out for the Wii U is because people would murder them if it didn't. So I don't think we've seen the end of them trying to get people to use Breath of the Wild as a system seller for the Switch.
What do you think of the Switch?
I think it looks
Oh.
neat.
I think it's a cool idea, but like any console, it needs games, and I hope people don't forget that after the Wii U. And I like that Breath of the Wild is a launch title, because I think that's a good. I mean, certainly, the Wii U had launch titles that the Switch won't have, but Zelda is the reason that a lot of people buy Nintendo consoles still, and we had a system that, sure, it's technically getting a Zelda game, but basically as an afterthought. Like, we had a system that more or less did not have a Zelda game for it. Did it not? Did it have like, well, not a real Zelda
You
game.
didn't have an original Zelda game for it, no.
Yeah.
So
So I don't know.
technically it will, but does that really count? I don't know.
I want to see
Coming out from
more new IP for it. But like, if my hope is
Arms?
that it's like weird shit. It just doesn't seem like it's very well thought out. Like, that's like that's like an indie game that would be on the like an online store or something for $10. So it's weird to see stuff like that in the launch video for it. Like, but like, what was the Squid Game? You know, you're a
Splatoon?
kid, you're a squid, whatever. Squid,
Oh,
yeah,
Splatoon,
Splatoon, yeah.
Like stuff like that. I didn't play it, but it's supposedly super fun. And,
Oh, that's a great game.
yeah, so it's more stuff like that. It's great when they prove that they can still come out with brand new IP that is really creative and good, because their real big sellers have been around just for decades.
Okay.
I stick to my original opinion. I think it's just kind of gimmicky. I mean, I'm waiting for something like made exclusively for Nintendo Switch, which means that you can input your boarding time at the airport and it'll automatically turn off 10 minutes before or something like that's exclusive for Nintendo Switch, because it's, you know, it's just like the feature of it is that it's mobile. It's all mobile, and ARMS does look cool. And I think like the concept of the game is very much like a cheap indie title. It's just it's using the technology in a way that I don't think anything else really has. But in that both arms are separated, that's the only difference. And I don't want to downplay that because it really is the only thing right now. But it's going to be, the charm of it will immediately dissipate aside from like family parties and stuff. I think pretty quick. I think it'll go away pretty quick.
ARMS is like Wii Sports, except it's just one sport. But it looks better than the other Wii Sports, I guess.
Brett, you pre-ordered, didn't you?
Yep. Can't wait.
I
Gonna
think
play Zelda on it.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna sit there until Mario comes out in the winter. Or actually, Splatoon 2 will be cool.
Oh yeah, Mario. I forgot about Mario. Mario looks cool.
Odyssey, right?
Mario's always good.
I do not often see myself, taking out the Joy-Cons and saying, "Hey, let's play some 1-2 Switch," and I'm just not that type of person. I never played Nintendo Land. I don't know. I'm a hardcore gamer. Excuse me. But really, like, I don't know, that stuff just doesn't appeal to me, like ARMS and the other one. There's this one co-op game called Snipper Clips, which people have been talking about a lot, that they were showing off a little bit on the Treehouse stream, which is like this sort of imaginative 2D puzzle game where you have to like make yourself into different shapes in order to solve puzzles and whatever. I think you have to like reach certain points on the map or whatever. It looks pretty neat, so maybe I'll see how that is, but like I don't really have any close friends that are like super gamers, so I don't know
Snipper
if it's
Clips.
even worth it.
Snipper Clips.
But like, yeah, I mean, I was kind of thinking about like how I'd be able to bring it to like PAX East and show it off, if people want to check it out and play it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That'd be kind of cool,
Please do. Yeah, and
also that's coming up, so if you guys want.
yeah, I don't know if everybody knows. Yeah, we're going to PAX East. That's going to be pretty. I think we got our flights.
We should try to make some videos.
We should, yeah.
Hell yeah.
The return of Ian Bretchford, possibly.
Oh my god, please.
God, please. Oh my god, we just said the exact same thing. It probably sounded to everybody else like I did it after you, because I heard you doing it right when I was doing it.
Oh man, I mean, I think that would be perfect because I have like a hairstyle right now that is very pliable. Like
that would be so much fun.
Oh,
I don't know if
please,
you guys
Brett.
have seen a recent picture of me, but I actually have like a what is called these days a man bun, but a lot of people refer to it as a bun. But as I'm a man, they call it a man bun. But so like I can do some pretty goofy things with my hair. I feel like that'd be fine. I could like part it down the middle like with gel or something.
Yeah, do it. We got to bring a microphone though, so people will.
Oh yeah, I'll bring one of my
believe
rock
that
band mics,
you.
it'll be fun.
Yeah. So people that will believe that, like,
It's a real interview. Yeah, that's the most important part. People have to think that this is real.
All right, so here's how this.
we don't have a
works.
decent camera. We need like some handheld camera, even if just for like show.
Yeah. So
I don't have one though.
I'll put like a block on my microphone so that it like looks like I'm a newscaster. And Justin, you can be the camera guy, and you can be wearing like a khaki vest.
Oh my god!
And like cargo shorts. And Keith, you're just gonna be in a black tuxedo with sunglasses on and like one of those things going to your ear, and you're just you're gonna be in the background of every shot. Sending that
Either a
out.
black tuxedo or like a black turtleneck, but definitely the earpiece. A black turtleneck, and I'll just sort of have my hands clasped over my mouth, like nodding.
Secret Agent Keith.
So viewers, if you're going to be at PAX East, and let us know, and if you don't seem like a weirdo, maybe we'll see you there. And I'm sorry, I have
so
to preface that. That's
don't
not
get your
even really a
hopes up.
joke. I'm 100% serious.
Yeah.
This may come as a shocker to you, but if you come off as an axe murderer, we're probably not going to hang out with you.
We'll probably think of a nice way to get out of it, though.
Exactly.
Just like we'll say, oh yeah, sure, maybe, and then later we'll be like, oh hey, actually we're all pretty tired. We're just gonna stand.
The real side of Jayborino.
Considering I do that to my friends in real life, don't be surprised
Me
that I would
too.
do it to a complete stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. It's in Boston, if anybody doesn't know, and there's like a lot of bars and stuff around, so
It's gonna be
maybe
super
we
fun.
can get a drink. I'd like to do like karaoke at some point.
Oh yeah.
Some night.
I love them.
I
Yeah,
love
Dan,
hope.
if you guys want to come down, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastico!
All right, well I haven't
Really
eaten
quick
dinner,
then.
so I'm gonna call this one to a close.
Yeah.
Butterfly.
But thanks everyone for joining us this week. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you next week, 7 p.m. each Tuesday on Twitch. See you there. DPS signing out.
Bye.
Ich bin gut to have.